understanding the interest rate outlook, and understanding that stability is the new opportunity. The biggest question I get is always about interest rates. And while that is important, everybody's waiting around for the perfect, let's just call it, rate drop. And I hate to break it to you, but in 2026, it's likely going to be the year of stability, not these extremes. 2021, we saw interest rates below 3%. This past 6 months, we saw rates as high as 7.5%. Huge swing back and forth, and there's so much news about this, which is why it's always one of the top questions I get. But again, 2026, I see this next year, this next 12 months, as really being a year of stability, not extremes. So a lot of the economists and experts that I follow, they're predicting that by the end of 2026, we'll probably see our rates being somewhere in the mid to upper fives, maybe the low 6% range. So that's not this record low that we saw from 5 years ago, and it's also not the really high numbers we've seen just more recently, but it's going to be back in a more normal, stable level. And what I love about this is when rates stabilize, buyers, they can finally start planning again. Predictability, that's what brings confidence, not just for buyers, but also for sellers. We've already started to see lenders rolling out new creative programs, and a lot of the new construction home builders, they're also offering some of these buy downs, these rate locks, and sometimes even closing incentives just to keep their inventory moving. These are all signs that things are starting to stabilize, which I love to see. So if you're wondering if now is the best time to buy, well, there's more to it than just yes or no. If you've been waiting for a calm, predictable market, then yes, this could be a great time to buy. But if you're waiting for 3% rates again, unfortunately, you're gonna be waiting for a really long time, in my opinion. I don't like this saying, but a lot of people talk about marry the house, date the rate. And what that means is just finding a great home that you're going to be very happy with for a long period of time and marrying the home, but then maybe getting it at a little bit higher interest rate initially. And you can date the rate, meaning that maybe in a couple years from now, if the rates have significantly gone down, you can refinance at that point and lock in a lower rate. So, there always are options out there like this. So I think what's most important is just getting in the game. There's lots of different ways to do the math behind it, but if you're paying a certain amount in monthly rent versus putting that towards building up equity in your home by buying a home, it really doesn't take long to kind of do some analyzing and realize that most times you're still better off buying even if it is at a higher interest rate. But I always want to preface that with saying that the most important thing is buying when it makes the most sense for you and you're confident and comfortable with whatever that monthly amount is that you're going to need to start being able to budget for. So if that's the biggest thing, is whether it be 2026 or 2030, it's always going to come down to when it makes the most sense for you.